Time is 7:09. I'll call the meeting for the Nottingham, New Hampshire Budget Committee, Thursday, December 19th, 2024 to order. All rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Public comment? Seeing no one from the public.
Roll call?
I'd like to skip roll call apparently tonight. Thank you. Roll call.
Robert Kelly.
Karen Quinn? Donna Danus?
Tim DeBrio.
Owen Friend Gray.
Michael Kelly.
Jeffrey Morrison.
Charlotte Fife.
Jill Eldridge?
Sandra Jones.
Danielle Roy?
All members are present. No absences this evening. Didn't have public comment before, still don't, so that's good. I would entertain a motion to move the meeting minute review until after the school budget review, so flopping items 5 and 6 so that not everybody needs to sit through that.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second it.
Motion by Mike, second by Sandra. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Items 5 and 6 are swapped. Therefore, updated school budget review. Floor is yours.
So I just gave you 4 different handouts. Don't know which order you have them on your table, but one of them is the default budget revised master list. That's a 1-pager from the default budget. And if you want a full backing, I can absolutely print that off and bring it for next time. So these are changes from the 5th meeting, December 5th, and today. So the reason for that is adjusting for dental, some income, and health insurance.
But with those adjustments, the bottom line didn't change at all?
No, the bottom line, this is just showing what the difference is. It changed it, 170,000, basically, for the default. It actually lowered it.
But the two totals are.
What are the two at the bottom then?
The two totals at the bottom is just showing which account number was originally and what the account number is now, because the previous ones were all the same.
So it's just like a debit credit sort of balance.
And then the third column is just showing the difference between the two. So the first column that says 12/5/24 default, that was the amount in the budget previously. And then the next column is what the new amount is for the budget.
But yeah, I see. So the appropriations went down,
Yep.
and then they're.
As I mentioned in the previous meeting, the health insurance, we're getting more detail on that, and that's what affected a lot of it, so we'll lower it down.
That makes sense, because you maxed it right before.
I did,
Yeah.
because it's easier to take out than it is to
I
add.
agree, yeah.
Yeah, but I think you're happy with it going down, so I'm happy with it
Yeah, we
anyways.
knew it couldn't go higher than max, right?
Yeah, exactly. So on the next one is, at the top it reads, I proposed FY 24-25 proposed salary and benefits master list. That is for the binder. I think it is under the tab that's called staff list with salaries and benefits. So that's where it goes. So I mentioned the last one,
You said 24, 26, 24.
this one. 25, 26. I call it master list because it's kind of hard to track between the school board and this meeting to make sure I give the right version. So I called it the master list, so everybody's got the most up-to-date information. Then the other single page one you got is at the top of each Nottingham School District proposed budget. This is something I had, I want to give something for the tax rate impact. But once I get a little more final numbers, I got to talk to the town to make sure the valuation is correct as well. So it'll be, next time you'll get an updated one, and it'll show more of the format that you're used to seeing. This I did based on function codes versus with a current approved budget for this fiscal year, what our default would look like, what our proposed is looking like, therefore over or under default, and the increase over 24-25, and then the percentage increase over 24-25. And at the very bottom, to the very right, estimate tax impact is what that's against the proposed and the approved. packet that I gave you is the updated proposed budget. I know it says proposed budget revenue. Revenue is a mistake, and it's revised. So you'll see that, but then the top page is just like the default one. It's a comparison from the 12-5 meeting to what it is now and where the changes are. And then behind all that is all the support for it, showing a breakdown of everything.
So we went through sort of section by section last time. So I think we got all the background, which appreciate. It looks like just about everything has an adjustment. But a lot of them are not significant dollar values. So would you mind starting with going through whatever you would consider the significant differences or significant changes, highlighting those?
Yeah,
and
sure.
then-
So I go from the top of that list and just go down.
Yeah, just go off this sort of summarized list.
The appropriations list at the very top that's just for the general fund revenue. You'll see later on there's a backside to the other revenue, but you'll see that a little bit lower for the revenue. You'll see the food service as well. So the current appropriations went down for the general fund, $367,869.11. That is the adjustments for all the recalculation. A lot of that is because of the health insurance. So that also affected default and also proposed. See here, interest income, as mentioned last time, I was gonna revisit those and see what would be more of a reasonable interest income since we've been getting a little bit more interest. So I adjusted it, it grossed up $5,000. In our costs, we talked about last time. The other current appropriations is the food service. That went down $17,000 because we grossed up the vending machine sales, and then the lunch sales. And then the next part is, the next biggest one here would be the health insurance for the teachers. This is just the function code 1100, so that would be the regular education teachers. That's where the greater pool of the teachers are. It's 34 of them. So that went down $122,148 because, as mentioned before, we maxed it out. Then we had an understanding of what the new agreement would look like for health insurance, and I adjusted it.
Do you know what the percentage was by the increase for insurance, health insurance?
Well, each one's different.
Okay.
Each one's, so you actually have that in your packet. It's under the health insurance, towards about the middle, it'll just tell you.
I didn't know if there was like an overall.
No, each plan has its own different increase. And one of the old plans, the BC3T went away, and the 0810 is a new plan that came in, and this is reflection because of the 0810 plan. That replaced the BC3T plan, but the price point is very similar to one of the other plans we have. So based on the current CBA, there's not much of a price point difference, which is a cost savings to the district.
Okay.
It's very confusing. But I don't know what that percentage would be.
Yeah, you had to take each one.
Exactly, yeah,
Right, that's what I figured.
yeah. But what I can do maybe next time, add a column just to see what the difference is between this time and the next time.
Yeah, I know last year we had just a number, a round number.
Yeah, you had the 13.2 or whatever it was,
2 or 4.
but that was for everything, but this year each plan is different.
Gotcha.
But it's
They
the
used to give us a
actual,
GMR, and they changed it.
yeah, last year we had the GMR, because that could fluctuate. Some years you may have gotten it, like say 7%, but it was actually just 5%. This year this is your number, it's not changing through the budget process at all. So it's good to know the actual number, bad because it's not gonna change. Let's see here, we reduced some supply lines for art. Oh, the next bigger one, I skipped right over it, was a tuition for the anticipated move-ins. Originally, we had that at $160,000. Last night at the school board meeting, we decided to lower that to $40,000, basically bring in, if there were 2 students to move in, and possibly move in the rest of that to the warrant. But that's a discussion for the next school board meeting, is focusing on more of the warrants.
We also rolled the numbers of kids graduating versus incoming and think that we can put that down a little bit. Think that there's some buffer built in there.
Well, if you put that on a warrant article, though, what would be the risk of the warrant article not passing?
Oh, we have a capital reserve fund for it at this point for tuition. That's all we're considering.
So it would come out of the capital reserve?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what the warrant
But
article
if
is?
you're concerned about a warrant article, then you can't do anything. No, we
Yeah.
wouldn't do that.
Yeah, okay.
But we found some upside in the roll forward of
Okay,
The numbers.
outgoing and incoming.
okay.
All right, then going down, we'll see supplies for some classrooms, replacement furniture and fixtures. You'll see a lot more health insurance, and then you'll see retirement for the teacher summer institute. They're already retired. They don't get retirement, so they don't need retirement. So we took that out. Health insurance again, supplies for nursing, we reduced it by $500. We used that based on comparison of what was purchased in the previous couple years, so $3,500 seems very reasonable. Library books, we reduced as well, by $11.50 for the same reason that what was purchased in the past and space that we have for the library. It's a very reasonable number.
We also see that there was some overage on that line in the current budget, so we feel like there was some extra purchases that we can just kind of go a little bit flatter now.
Do you remember the library as a whole? It wasn't it like 30% increase from year to year?
That's what it was originally.
Yeah.
I think at the last meeting, that's what it was, yeah.
So it stood out to us.
Yeah. Is that adjusted now in this?
Yeah, that's adjusted
Packet.
for, I'm looking for the number right now, I can give you what it would look like. Now it's at 9.09%.
And what page is it though?
That would be page 20,
Thank you.
and if you, second from the top. I added more notes as well, that's for your reading.
Oh, that's great.
Excludes the, if there's any spelling mistakes, there's no spell check in the tax software, in the accounting software, so I did my best. Alright, so if we continue moving down, you'll see more health insurance, contracted services, building, and then you'll see repair and maintenance, building equipment. You'll see a flip of $7,600. The reason for that is they were just in the wrong line. So it's not changing the bottom line, it's just changing those account numbers. So I wanna make sure they're classified in the right place. The next big one is we talked about electricity last time, kinda looked at the past history. I think removing $20,000 for this coming year is very reasonable. So it looks like we're on track to do about 89,000, so removing 20,000 to make it 100,000 next year seems achievable for sure. Also, we got our final propane numbers, so that is an actual number that won't fluctuate. It's actually a little bit less than we had this year for the cost of propane, so that's nice. It's always good to have cost savings. And then we also took out the kiln in the replacement equipment for 2600s as well. Because we talked about that yesterday at the school board meeting, about just replacing the kiln and making it space needs wise and make it more up to date, more modern, I guess you can say, more up to date codes and everything. I think the talk of that is possibly going to a warrant article with that one as well.
The kiln is broken. It's original to the school and it's integral to the curriculum in the art, so we want to maintain it. But it needs to be replaced, it's just gonna become something else that breaks,
It broke since the last meeting.
so.
So instead of paying for the new kiln and replacing it or repairing it, might as well just do the whole thing at once. And then we also removed the athletic transportation, because that is, as discussed last time, is something we haven't used last couple of years since COVID. And also staffing issues with the busing company. It's more likely we're gonna get somebody to transport students to and from school than we're having somebody do transportation to athletic games.
Yeah, we wanna do it, we wanna take the kids, we had a bus, it was for the kids that were in athletics, we take them to the games. We'd like to do that, but there's not sufficient, bus drivers to do it. And when there are, if we get any extras, we've gotta put them toward, like, the high school bus to Dover would be the first priority.
That's it for the changes.
Bottom line's 3 now, 3.05.
So where does it come in as an increase? Weren't you like 5.4 last time or something?
Yeah, I think that's what it was last time. Now we're at 3.05.
Sorry if you said that.
That's okay. I didn't.
3.05.
Yeah, that's what the grand total is over year. Estimated tax impact of 3.707% because of the valuation, but like I said, I'm gonna get a more final number on that, so at the next time, you'll see what the actual tax impact will look like.
But that's just the operating budget, it doesn't include the warrant articles.
Right, this is just 100% operating and food service. Right. There was no change in food service except for those revenue accounts I mentioned earlier.
Do you have any idea as far as warrant articles?
Yeah, we talked about them last night, we're gonna firm them up, but we know we have a paraprofessional negotiation that will go on. We have not concluded our negotiations, so we can't really speak to it much at this point, but when we have something, we'll let you know. And, we're going to be putting, likely, we'll have something for the maintenance and the school and around the HVAC system. We'll definitely be putting something on to beef up the, maintenance capital reserve account. And I'm trying to think what else we have. I think that's about, the kiln potentially, if we have the numbers, if
Do you
we
have an
don't
idea as far as a
have.
dollar, not for the para salad, because that's in the budget
Right,
anyway,
right, right. We're gonna roll forward that that whole HVAC piece. We have numbers coming in, so we need to understand how much we need to add to that system. CIP, we just put 300,000 into, so we're firming that up.
Tuition.
Oh, yeah, the tuition piece, right, so we moved some things out, we may put something in for the tuition.
500,000 total, you're thinking between them, 400, 300,
I'm
100?
really not sure right now, it's gonna be, you know, the kiln will probably be what, 70,000?
To be on the safe side.
They're
yeah.
coming to do a,
Yeah,
Quote.
I'm just asking, because I think the last, our next meeting is the last time we get to see this
Yeah.
budget, which would include your warrant articles.
yeah. Yeah, I think the maintenance piece is obviously gonna be the biggest one.
There's no numbers yet on the HVAC, what that might be.
We got some numbers last night. We made some motions last night to put the mag filters on both boilers to make sure no metal rolls through, and to put a system on, and, that came to 17,000, we wanna take it out of the capital reserve. So those will be put on post haste, and then we'll be able to know firsthand what's happening with the situation. The other things that are on there, are sitting in the CIP now, and we need to get firm estimates and a timeline to get them done. And it's gonna be estimates, what do we need for pipes, and what exactly is it that we're gonna need? I think everyone agrees the glycol is the source of the problem. And the question is, how much needs to be replaced as a result of it? So last night we heard, we have air handlers we're gonna be doing. We have 150,000 put aside for that, but we may move the priority of those air handlers to something else. So whatever it takes to fix the system, and whenever they tell us what that is, we've got estimates everywhere, we've put them out there, and we'll apply it to whatever we need to get it done. Could be piping, it could be changing to a partial glycol system for 55,000. We know we have to flush it. We know we have to change fittings out, so we did the low-hanging fruit, that's the most important last night. And we're waiting now, Palmer and Sicard's over there right now, as well as another
I'm
vendor.
leaving momentarily.
Yeah, it's leaking
If you
tonight
read your
in a
email,
different place.
on my way out the door here, I had to send another preemptive email out.
So we just got an email today saying everything's steady, we're gonna keep an eye on it, everything's fine, and then 3 hours later, there's something leaking.
No, sorry. Wow.
I'm sorry?
I just said, I'm sorry. It's-
We are too.
It's not as far as I am.
Yeah. Is there any sort of warranty? And, cause wasn't there a lot of work done on this and?
We had 2 new boilers installed, I looked at the warranty last night, I gave
You
the
gave it to me.
data
Actually, I have it
to
for you.
Mr. Roy.
Right, I mean, it
It's up
seems
to
like they
2
would be.
years on parts for the boilers, there were 5 different subsections.
Okay.
Yeah, it was back here,
But
this is
not
the
our
one that
pipes.
we verified.
Yeah, depending on
that-
what's leaking, you know what I mean? They didn't touch it, you know?
Yeah, we had, there's just,
Nothing that
It's
would,
not the boilers
nothing that would
themselves.
pertain to what's happening now, I guess.
The
Well, what's going
boilers
on
are-
right now is with the distribution system, aside from the boilers, existing piping and stuff, so.
things seem to be breaking, and then the air handlers distribute the problem, and
No.
that last time we went in, the one boiler was literally rocking, and all the fittings around it were rocking.
Captive,
Airbound. It says here, labor 1 year, boiler 2 years for parts, boiler 10 years for pressure vessel, DHW 6 years tank, and DHW 5 years parts. So this is something that I had in my notes, I gave it to Mr. Roy last night, I'm gonna pursue that.
Yeah.
How much is in the maintenance, you said you were thinking about tapping the maintenance reserve fund, how much is in that?
right, we have two, almost three in there right now, I thought.
I thought it was about 259. Don't quote me, but
We have new numbers on that, I could pull them up on the computer, but I
I'm
sent
gonna
them
say
out.
it's on the lower side of 200,000, only because we haven't paid for the new air handlers yet.
Oh, it hasn't
Only
been
because,
pulled
yeah,
out from
we
the
haven't,
summer.
we haven't pulled out the
The
44.
142 hasn't come out?
42.
42, okay.
42 hasn't come out.
which was like
Just
July
because we weren't
11th.
paying it until everything was, we knew it was working, in working order, and everything that needed to be fixed was fixed for it.
All right. Yeah, I thought the number that they had was good, okay.
So when I jump up, I'm not being rude, I'm being,
So we need to beef that up. I think we put 50 into it last year, and it was raised and appropriated, it didn't even come out of unassigned. It was, we want to make sure it hit.
Is pulling from the maintenance reserve something you can do at your meetings? So it's not something that requires a town vote or anything like that?
No, I mean, we should be able to tap capital reserve funds, everything's set up, everything's in place. We have a vendor with a service contract, they come in regularly. We've got a capital reserve fund, I mean, the default budget doesn't hinder us in this matter. I
We have
mean,
a
it
service
could
contract
ultimately do it
that's
if it
preemptive.
becomes huge, but, no, we have all the systems in place. It's just kind of shocking. So, we're having other people look at it as we speak, so.
Other people other than,
Second opinion or something?
I had a third-party auditors, I put out for third-party auditors, contacted at least 5 different companies to come. 2 came, EEI and Turner Group. EEI came and presented to the board last night. The board responded to, as she said, the low-hanging fruit, 2 immediate responses.
That's probably a bad phrase, because it was important stuff, but it
Right.
was just easy, yeah.
Easiest to
I'm gonna
do.
repeat that.
Well, most important to do as well, the immediate things that they could do immediately, and most importantly, to help us. So we got the requisitions out and done this morning, today, and, I sent the pictures, and they're like, Calvary's on the way. They are there right now. Palmer and Sicard are coming by 8 o'clock, because they wanna know and be familiar with, continue to be familiar with our system. So it's really hard to hear, and I'm not going to whine, but it's really hard to hear that the school board doesn't do anything. They react immediately when we are told this is what you need to do. It's immediate. Last night, it was immediately done, but yet I have to hear, the board didn't do anything last night. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Immediately made a motion
who
last
are
night.
you addressing this to, Rana?
All my fans that send me email,
Well, anyway, the reality of the situation is that the water needs to be treated, the glycol/water in the system. We have a test that came in last night.
Yep.
I can't remember the name of that company, but.
Metro Group.
Metro.
Metro Group will be in, they'll be putting chemicals in the water to,
Get rid of the,
Yeah.
make the pH balance better and get rid of the
yeah,
acidity.
no corrosion in the pipes.
Inhibitors, I think is the
Yeah,
actual term.
so
they
they'll
use.
protect the pipes, we're gonna put those mag units on,
And
that's gonna
coax it.
collect any of the metal that could course through our boilers. We're gonna put a system on for $6,700 that tells us what is happening with those systems.
Remotely.
Real time, remotely, and I believe they said that that would enhance the duality there.
redundancy.
Yeah, the redundancy. We have 2 boilers and we haven't experienced the redundancy that we need.
One shuts down both of them and it shouldn't.
Right.
The main one shouldn't go down.
Yeah, there should
When
be.
we came in the other night, the main one was rocking, and the other one next to it had heat and pressure, but it was shut down because this one wasn't giving it. And
not
we
set up
thought,
right.
when we
Yes,
had
set up
2
as
boilers,
intended.
we'd get redundancy.
Yep.
So this software will do that.
Who monitors the software?
Mr.
Brown
Brown, but
will
we're gonna have
monitor it.
multiple people on the new software that 3 or 4 of us can all
Yeah.
receive that.
And I talked with Mr. Holridge today, and they have a plan in place for someone to visit the school every day during vacation. So there'll be someone there checking all the time, plus this system will be up. I don't know what the ETA is on that system, but we're ready to roll whenever,
They're processing it as soon as possible.
so.
So what was it that's, I guess, different from the last time Palmer and Sicard went through and updated the boilers and tried to fix all of this issue versus now? Is it that the glycol wasn't dealt with at the time, or, I'm trying to figure out why this is still recurring. I understand we're reacting to what happens, I'm trying to figure out, I
And we're
guess,
trying to find out what the whys are as well.
following the
All we've
breadcrumbs.
been able to ascertain from people is that the glycol in an acidic state creates havoc in your system, and it shows up in various places at uncertain times. That's what we're hearing. The way to fix it is to clear that glycol out, clean it out again, and then treat it. But they don't wanna do that until the spring, so right now, there's a filter on there, they're changing the size of the filter as they go incrementally. They've pulled out buckets and cleaned that out, and so that is where we are. But we'd like to be further along than that, so.
Why do they not want to do it till spring?
They say it's better to do it in the spring, so they'll clear it out in the spring, flush it, and put new in.
You have to shut the system down. We don't wanna shut it down during the winter.
Yeah. The last time we did it, it was in February.
You have to shut it down for long periods of
It was a
time.
week.
Yeah, 3 weeks,
Yes.
I think 4 weeks is what
The
the
new,
estimate is.
the different vendors saying 3 weeks and 35 to 45,000, and the current vendor did it in 4 days in February vacation for about 18,000.
So at this point, the funding isn't the concern, it's just trying to figure out what next steps
There's
are.
no sense of funding, there's no sense of withholding funding, that's never really been an issue, there's not a budget problem. It's just, what is the problem? What is happening? Why are we experiencing this?
And the state says we are taking the right steps. You know, we have access to the state, the facilities, I can't think the right name of the department, but Amy Clark from the state says we are doing the right things. It's a matter of, like for any of us in our own home, finding out what is the problem.
But you understand the frustration. If I was in my home and this has been
Absolutely.
happening for 2 years now,
Absolutely.
I'd be like, how's it gonna roll?
Absolutely.
So,
I've
that's
lived
the
at my
frustration.
house for
It's
2 years.
But
Yes,
it's
I
not,
understand.
I mean, I think you're probably getting some emails saying you're doing nothing, but I think more of the frustration is that this has been going on for parents for 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing. So.
Similar
that's-
things
Similar
that keep
things.
cropping up, and you think you've got it settled and you feel comfortable, and the next thing you know, it's happening again.
Yeah.
Right, you can only go by what the professionals are telling you, you're not, you know, you don't fix boilers for a living. you know.
Palmer and Sakar did say,
I've learned a lot about them.
yeah, they did tell us that you need to flush these systems. Initially, we had one boiler, it had 2 sides, and it had redundancy. And then we started experiencing some pressure problems, and that's when it all started. But we said, this is an old boiler, it's original to the building, it makes sense that we could have issues, so it was rebuilt, but then it cracked. But this pressure issue has been an ongoing theme, and then the glycol was raised, and they said it can last 10 years, but it needs to stay non-acidic. And so they told us that, and then it was flushed and cleaned, so everyone thought, this is good. But it corrupted again quickly, so that's
Have
the
your
issue.
consultants mentioned any other school systems that have had similar problems with heating systems like this?
They
Are
say
we unique in
glycol
this,
is
or
not
this-
necessarily used everywhere, they're saying that
And more
only
into
part of our
their
system
problems and how much
requires it.
Right. Just the areas that are
They did mention some
uninsulated?
school systems last night, and the new company that was presenting, and they said that, it can be problematic. There have been Greenland, they mentioned, Franklin,
So there are
so
other.
varying levels of issues.
Is there any way to dump the glycol by insulation or by?
Sorry, Charlotte, I'm gonna cut you off. I think we're out of budget committee realm. I think we need to, I think we've gotten into the
Sorry.
nitty gritty.
It's okay.
So,
I
I wanna
won't
get
take it
back
personally.
onto topic.
Thank you.
So, glycol system, money is not the issue, sorry, that's what I was trying to drive at and figure out here.
Yep.
So it's not something that's gonna need to be
I think that
part of this
Not that
upcoming
we know
budget,
of at the
right?
moment.
we've put into the budget what we think we need. It may need to be refined as we receive more information.
Yeah,
But nothing has been withheld up to this point related to money.
when you mean nothing's been withheld, you're
We
saying
haven't
that,
had a budgetary crisis and something that
got you,
needs to be
that
fixed.
money isn't holding you up
We
at this
couldn't-
point.
It's not holding us up.
I understand what you're saying. I got it now, sorry. So, Bill, where is the money for potential maintenance things built in?
Sure, that's
34.
2620. Starting with 5, 6, 10.
So that's the repair and maintenance building equipment?
Yeah, I know there's 53,000 in there already for cleaning the air vents, the air ducts. So I think they'll start up between that number is 92,604. That'd be on the bottom of page 34 there. Second from the bottom. Let me bring my spreadsheet up here.
What's the difference between repair and maintenance building equipment and repairs and maintenance building?
The
There's really not. It can all, realistically, it all can be put onto the same account line.
Okay,
It was just built like that before I was here, and Mr. Brown seems like he's very, like,
That's
this
what
one
he's
goes in
used
this
to.
bucket, this one goes in this bucket.
that works for him, that works for me. Just wanted to make sure I understood it.
So is one more equipment, like a freezer or things that are in the building, and other is actually the building component itself?
Yeah, one could be something like a freezer, or it could be a piece of equipment,
Yeah.
like a scrub vac, it's not like a vacuum cleaner, or, a floor scrubber, or something like that could be a piece of equipment, but then something else that's part of the building, such as, we'll just say air vent, or air handler, or just an AC that's mounted into the wall. You might consider that part of the building,
Got it, thank
but
you.
realistically, it's all the same.
So for the contracted building, contracted services building, the account note PM for HVAC, is it a proposed project management,
No, that is preventive maintenance.
preventative maintenance, okay.
Yeah, it's preventive maintenance, yep.
Anything else, for major differences or anything that you guys wanna highlight, something different you want us to be looking at, keeping in mind, thinking about?
I think last night we were just really trying to get it down under the 4, because we know we were gonna have some warrants.
There's nothing that comes to mind, I think. I think the budget that we have right now is very realistic. It's very doable. Percent-wise, I think it's a decent number right now, before the warrants, obviously. But I do wanna keep in mind, maybe have a conversation with Mr. Brown, saying, okay, this is stuff that's happened the last 2 years. Maybe do we increase, repairs and maintenance to the building for heating a little bit?
I mean, there's gonna be some pretty sizable swings in these numbers from last year to this year, that people are gonna be pretty cognizant of once those changes probably come through. So is that in an effort to try to sort of dampen those?
Yeah, so if something comes up, like right now in the repairs and maintenance, the 012625430002, which is on. Page is that? Oh, so yeah, it's on page 34, repairs and maintenance heating plant. We put $25,000 in there for unexpected, so that way it can be done right away.
So now you're not pulling out of a reserve, now it's just in an operating budget, so it's even less restriction on the,
Yeah, timeliness though, like it's happening on a Thursday after the school board meeting. Sometimes depends on what it is. It can wait, can it not wait? Like if it can wait, obviously bring it to the school board, have a discussion on that, but if it's within the budget and it's planned, I don't say unexpected, but unexpected can be planned for, we can just do it without waiting.
But we're thinking that as the system is aging and things are being identified, we're gonna be taking the big buckets and looking to capital reserve accounts and potentially warrants and so forth. But these are gonna be, I think, anticipated expenses that we're gonna be ramping up, looking at things that you typically maybe wouldn't. So things are gonna have to be maintained, like they said, the gaskets are probably having extensive wear put on them. So that's gonna be an anticipated expense to fix those. So we'll be going through, doing those general things anticipated that are higher than typical. And then we know we're gonna have expenditures related to the system, so those are gonna be in the other areas.
so forgive my ignorance, I should know this, but I don't. CIP that met right before this, does that consider school items or not? Okay.
Yes.
So there is a plan for the next 5 years or something?
6.
6 years? okay.
Yep.
On major items, but you're talking about adding items to that list.
Right, so we're gonna look at our warrant articles for some larger items that the vendors are gonna tell us about, hopefully. And then we wanna have coursing through our budget, enhanced expenditures for anticipated items that need to be repaired, such as gaskets that have been impacted by this.
It's gonna happen.
Yep,
As you guys are learning the hard way,
yes.
things are gonna keep happening in a 30-year-old building.
Right.
at
Even
end
if
of
you-
life for a lot of things at the moment.
Yeah, and even though popular opinion may be that it hasn't been maintained, it has been. It's always had a service contract on it, it's always been looked at regularly, but things have accelerated due to the age, due to the condition of the pipes, and due to acidic glycol.
Any other questions from anybody on these items? I think we're all set. Thank you, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, enjoy trying to figure out tonight's disaster.
We'll go take a look.
Just one request. Is there any way, I guess, when do you plan to finalize the warrant articles? Because if we're meeting, our next meeting with you is to, that's our final meeting to review your budget warrant articles, and then we're gonna go into the public hearing.
Okay.
It would just be nice to be.
When is the, I'm sorry, can you just, I've been, I'm like all over the place
December
lately.
9th.
Then what's
I mean,
the date of the?
January 9th.
January 9th.
January 9th, so we're meeting before that.
We're meeting the 8th.
We'll get it over to you prior, how's that? Does that work for you?
I think that'd be great.
Okay, so we have our eyes on that, we're working on it, and we'll get that dated to you when we get it done.
Thank you.
Excellent, thank you very much.
Welcome, thanks.
On to previous item 5, now item 6, meeting minute review. So we have the December 5th and December 12th meeting minutes. Oh, look at that, it's updated. Here, I should have paid more attention.
Right in there?
It's right in there. I think I have yet to have a chance to review these, and I apologize for that.
I could
Has
use a couple minutes.
anybody had a chance to review these yet, look through them?
I have a quick edit, I believe. So December 5th, I believe it lists Jack and Charlotte as being absent, but I think actually it was Jeff and myself that were absent, and Charlotte was present.
Unnoticed apparently, but present.
And they just swapped up.
Or you were here.
We're
The same.
Okay, anything else that anybody noticed on the December 5th?
Can we take a couple minutes to flip through it? I haven't had a chance to read it either.
Well, Donna's got some edits.
Yeah.
So if you wanna,
I'll read while Donna
Yeah.
has.
Okay. And Danielle can correct me on this, but on line 46 and 49, it describes calls the program Math and Focus.
It's in,
Math in Focus. 46, 49. And then there was one other. But there was one other spot that would come through. There was that. A question, so go to line 59.
yep,
It said the number included in the proposed budget for health insurance is if the district were to assume 100% liability for paying those premiums. And I thought what it was that the district assumes that somebody who comes in might have a family plan, so they're budgeting for that. Not that the district has to cover 100% of the premiums.
so maybe change 100% liability for paying those premiums to assuming responsibility for the most expensive premiums, or did you have some?
Plan.
Yeah,
Yeah. Wording.
yeah. It's basically, you could have somebody who's singular, somebody who's family. But
we
from a-
assume they would choose the highest cost of the
Exactly,
plan.
Yeah.
exactly, yeah,
So maybe just the most expensive
yeah,
is enough to cover?
yeah. Line 166, starts talking about substitute, substitute paraprofessionals. Is this correct, Danielle, where it says 3 paraprofessionals multiplied by 100 times 15 days is 445? I think it's not 3 paraprofessionals, but it's 3 substitutes, right? Because it's the substitute rate that is $100 a day based on the assumption of 15 days per person, right?
So it would really probably read 3 paraprofessional substitutes?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Line 185. One student at Oyster River who pays the Dover tuition rate, which is capped. I think how it actually works is that the school pays up to the Dover rate, and then the individual pays
the rest.
Pays the rest. So it's one student at Oyster River who pays
The difference
the
between
difference
the
between the
Dover
Dover rate and the Oyster River rate. Line 200 is where the other math and focus is. Line 210, it's talking about the preschool coordinated position was moved to its own budget line. They are not in a CBA, but do get the same rights as the teachers. Is that supposed to be rates?
Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry, what number was that again?
that was 210.
Thank you.
Line 251, it's the same comment about the health insurance. And the assumption is the district is paying 100% of the top current plan.
They're choosing the most expensive plan.
Yeah. And again, I know I'm picky, but it's for the sake of clarity for people. Line 307, they would like to use broadcasting instead of hiring out for deliberative sessions. I think what the statement was, having our own broadcasting equipment.
Correct.
Yep.
So, like to use in-house
Yes.
broadcasting
Yep. In-house broadcasting equipment.
equipment?
Yep.
Okay.
That's it.
The only item I had was for line 73. I said 88 cents of the rate reduction was for the school.
Rate reduction, yep. Okay, anything else that folks noticed?
That's for the 12th, but not for the.
Let's stick with the 5th for now. Anything else on the 5th before we switch to the 12th? Okay, so, see if I can get all this right. I will entertain a motion to adjust lines of the December 5th draft meeting minutes, adjusting lines 6 and 8 to reverse Jillian Eldridge and Charlotte Fife. Change "and" in line 46 and 49 to "in," so it reads math in focus. Line 60, after the word assume, get rid of 100% liability for paying those. That portion replaced with the most expensive, so the sentence will read, were to assume the most expensive premiums. Line 73, add the word reduction after rate. Line 67, add substitutes after paraprofessionals. Line 185, after Oyster River who pays, add the term the expense over, so the sentence will read, Oyster River who pays the expense over the Dover tuition rate, period, which is capped, can be deleted. 200, again, math in focus, not math and, so math in. Line 211, change the word rights to rates. Line 251, starting at 100, delete 100% of the top current, and replace that with the most expensive. So the sentence will read, the assumption is that the district is paying the most expensive plan a 29.5% increase. Line 308, after to use, add in-house, and then after broadcasting, add equipment. So the sentence will read, they would like to use in-house broadcasting equipment instead of hiring out for deliberative sessions. And that I will entertain.
So moved.
Moved by Tim,
Second.
second by Donna. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Jeff abstained.
I should
Yes.
probably, you have to abstain.
Probably.
Have to, but I watch it on TV and read through the minutes. I wasn't here, so I'm gonna.
Jillian, it's your call. Would you like to abstain?
I'll abstain.
Okay, so the motion passes at a vote of 9-0 to 2. Excellent. December 5th is passed. Moving on to December 12th.
Just minor on this, on line 118, it says Gary Cohen, and I believe it's Gary Cowan. I think it's C-O-W-A-N.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's on line 118 and on line 122. And then on line 138, it says the Senate block received is just for this year, and I think it was the highway block grant, right? Yeah.
I'm sorry, which line was it?
That's
138.
138.
It's the Senate Highway Block, it was a 1-year Senate.
Was that
Highway
SB2?
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
highway block.
Right,
It-
right.
Well,
it's
you
the
can
highway-
also call it state block grant,
Yeah.
or there's a
Yeah.
lot of different terms for it,
Yeah.
but probably highway block grant is the most common term.
Yep,
Okay.
that's it.
Jillian, you said you had some for the 12th?
Do, also minor, line 71, end of that line, it says Chief Don Woodman, I believe it's Fawn.
Yes, it is. But that's not minor, she wouldn't think so.
Line 141 towards the bottom of the next page, also towards the end of the line, Highway Truck Reserve Fund at 70,000 with a period rather than a comma. And, line 149, based on the plan that Allen, I think it's A-N, not E-N. And.
2 L's, but A instead of E?
I believe so. Next page, halfway down, line 167, there's a quote from Administrator White, but that is actually me who said that. Gotta get my 15 minutes thing. That's all I have.
Okay. Did anybody have anything else to add to the notes from the 12th? So if that is the case, I would entertain a motion to approve the December 12th meeting minutes with the following adjustments. Line 71, change Chief Don to Chief Fawn, F-A-W-N. Line 118, Cohen, C-O-H-E-N, should be changed to Cowan, C-O-W-A-N. Line 122, same change, Cohen to Cowan, C-O-W-A-N. 138, change the term Senate block to highway block grant. Line 141, change from 70.000 to 70,000, so changing the period to a comma. 149, Allen Trant, spelled A-L-L-A-N. And then line 167, change Administrator White to Jillian Eldridge.
one more small edit.
Okay, with one more edit, I will
And it's
still
just a name-
entertain this motion.
Yes, it's just again, a
Not
name
starting
correction.
again.
Line 117, Carl Eden is E-D-I-N, not E-D-E-N.
With the additional change to line 117, Carl Eden, with Eden spelled E-D-I-N.
So moved.
Moved by Tim,
Second.
second by Donna. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed and abstained? Thank you. So that passes at a motion of 10 to 0 to 1. Excellent. See if I can get the right paperwork in front of me. Calendar update. So there's a new calendar in your packet. The update, I think the dates for, deliberative sessions have been added. That would be the February 1st and February 5th for town deliberative and school deliberative. Then recommendation for town budget. So that second piece, recommendation for town budget if necessary, and then recommendation for school budget is necessary, is the meeting that we'll be holding immediately after those deliberative sessions, in case there is changes that we then need to re-vote on to have something go forward with the different warrants that'll be on the ballot. But at this point, this should be our final budget schedule. So, trying to think, do we need to ratify a budget? Probably not. Approve, calendar, yes. Trying to decide if we need to actually vote to approve the schedule. Okay, so schedule will just be updated as mentioned.
The school deliver, we did put a snow makeup day. Do you guys want that one too?
Yes, might as well have it.
Okay, so Friday the 7th at 6 p.m. February.
The 7th.
Correct.
Friday, 7th, snow day. Which I'm not seeing on here for the town budget, but assuming that would be the following Saturday, which is the latest day for
Right.
deliberative. So that's probably the snow day. Okay.
I would have not speak.
Danielle, what's the time for that deliberative session?
6 p.m.
Thank you.
Excellent. Anything else on schedule?
I'm assuming the budget hearings are 7, just like our regular committee meetings, or are those different?
Yep.
Okay.
Nope, 7 o'clock. Unless there's a reason to move them, we've always done them at the same time, so. Probably posted that way at this point. We're
I
still
don't think
far
I've
enough.
ever been to one that wasn't at 7.
Yeah, I don't think I have either. I think that's just usually the way we do it. Anything else on calendar? Moving on to subcommittee reports.
Yeah, so CIP just met right before this meeting. We went through kind of like a final review of the numbers, you know, where they should fall, what the amounts were. We just really kind of just did some tweaking to it tonight. And then we also reviewed the submission for the town report that we're doing for that. So the question for this committee is, do you want us to share with you the final CIP at one of the upcoming meetings? We're gonna meet again on January 2nd, right before this meeting. So that's when we'll have final. So we could do it either, we could do it at the 9th if you wanted.
The 9th
What's
is
that?
school,
That might make the most sense.
Yeah, I
that's school
think so.
final, but I think that would make sense. Probably not thinking an overly long presentation, I wouldn't imagine, so. We can add that probably after the school, but, okay, so we'll add that to 60 slides, don't you dare. We'll add that to the January 9th. So we'll also, in addition to having the school final proposed and final defaults, we'll also review CIP. Excellent. Anything for facilities, Jeff?
No,
Okay. Nothing for,
stuff was before November, so.
okay. Other business, is there anything else that anybody else would like to add? With that, I'll say the next meeting will be in the new year, January 2nd, 2025, where we'll be reviewing the town's final proposed budget and the final default. That'll have all the finalized warrant articles, I'm assuming, and everything, well, not I'm assuming, they have to, so it will. Sure you'll get it to us. That you are, from what I read online, still working on finalizing. You're almost there, so that's great news for you guys.
Meeting on Christmas Day at 6 p.m.
Sounds about right.
We'll send in
So it feels
pizza.
like-
Yeah.
Bringing a ham.
Christmas Day, we'll do Chinese food.
Merry
Probably the
Christmas,
only
Tim.
thing open, right? And on that note, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I need it first.
I move, I so
Charlotte moves. Moving by Charlotte, second by Jeff. All those in favor? Aye. Unanimous.
Way ahead of me, Jeff.
8:05, meeting is adjourned.